first panel today, and they're going to be talking about maximizing your creativity with AI. I use AI minimally with work and with my own personal creative projects, so I'm excited to see what they have to say, as well as seeing if I can implement it into my own personal work, and I'll share what they had to say during the podcast.
Should we get started? Woo! All right, let's bring in the panelists. Come on in.
Ideation, that's something that's like really important for YouTube specifically, which I'm focused on. Thumbnail titles, AI is able to do a lot of things there. We do thumbnail mockups using like AI images because like it takes a lot of time to go out, take the photo, Photoshop it, and do all that. But then we can get a sense of like what it will look like with AI created images. And with titles, obviously the trick I use for titles is like you come up with 100, you'll end up with one good one. So AI is able to do a lot of volume at speed. So that's something I use AI for. For post-production, there's some like editing softwares that can leverage AI to cut out the ums and ahs and the empty spaces. And then for distribution, there's some clipping software that can use AI to like find the highlights of your podcast and give you like a short from that.
I actually love that you spoke about like you actually separated everything into pre-production, production, and post-production, because I find that with pre-production as well, I've been able to use, I don't know if anyone knows like YouTube analytics, like if you go there, there's a segment that actually has inspiration. So usually I go there to type out, maybe sometimes I go there to actually type out to see what is trending in the hair space, and sometimes it's like, okay, back to school hairstyle.
What have you been learning that's been maybe giving you the results that you want with like your process of prompting with the different AI tools you've been using?
Use it more as a sounding board. Here are my ideas, or here is my script. How would you fix it so that maybe I feature this product more, or that maybe it doesn't talk about this product more? Maybe it makes it more like child friendly. So in that way you can trust in like your own vision and your art, but while still like leveraging AI as something that kind of like just bounces back. It's like just like a buddy, right? It's like if you were to ask a friend. So that's kind of how I've found balance between, because I know there are fears with like authenticity and things like that, and that's like a really hot topic.
I'll give a couple general tips on AI prompting that I've learned throughout my time using it. First is give context. So what that means is instead of asking like a very general question like you would on Google, feed it information and it can give you more specific responses based off of that. For example, if I feed it like a rough script, I can tell it to make this better, or I can tell it to change the wording of it, change the tone of it, change how long it is. So give it context. The second one is be specific. So in your prompt, it's better if you be more specific than more general. So you'll get like more detailed results. This is true for image generation and for text responses as well. And the last one is break up your prompting into different steps. So iterate. So like first you would tell it to do one thing, that gives you a result. And then you tell it to change something, then it gives you a result. Then change something, it gives you a result. This generally gives you better results than if you told it to do all three things from the beginning. So those are the three rules. So context, be specific, and iterate.
feel like I have a friend. So I would feed it as much information about myself, the kind of content that I create, my values as well, because I of course I already have a theme of what I'm going for. I think because my content is very niched, right? So it's a bit more specific. So I have to literally type that out, that this is what I want this to look like. This is what my brand values, this is what my brand ethos looks like. So can you draft me something that relates to this? And I really like the fact that you said, like, break it down. You don't really have to pour everything at once. You can start with, how are you? Like, how is it going?
How are you today?
You know?
No, but I think this is like actually like what you're describing is a very human thing.
Yeah.
And whether or not like I would do that doesn't matter. But this idea of your personality, and also because your brand is connected to like understanding who you are, where you come from.
Yeah.
You're actually giving it the information that you're creating a boundary that it actually needs, where it's like, because you're not going to be able to actually, it's not going to give you anything that's actually useful to you unless you actually are setting that stage that you're doing. And I think that's a really interesting thing, because people forget that when you're the product, in the sense of like your ideas and who you are the product, well, the research that it actually needs is you. And I think you're doing a wonderful job. Like, that's a really interesting way to start to build that out.
And the reason I love the work that I get to do is because it's centered around the human touch with technology. And so no matter where we're going in the world, technology is always going to be ever present, but the humanity component of it and also the values that we surround ourselves with are just so important. And so that's the experience that I feel like will be there for me.
Something, I want it to be like the Matrix, you know, where I can go into a room and I might not know who's there or like how to do something. I can just think it and I just download that information pack and I can immediately do it. That's the future.
What, instant gratification of thousands of years of knowledge.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
At my disposal.
Go. Someone create that now. Go.
I think the panel today was super cool, and they brought up a lot of good points of how AI frees up your time and really helps you be more in a creative space, since you don't have to deal with all the minute details of your work. And one thing that I really enjoyed that the panel host said was that AI helps you express yourself in a way where you wouldn't have been able to express yourself before. Like the generative AI feature in Photoshop has been really helpful at my job, and being able to add additional space in your image or removing certain background objects. So I think the panel helped me to think of AI in a new way and helped me to work smarter and not harder.